Have you ever wondered what William Shakespeare's life might have been like but can't be bothered to read a book? If so, director Chloe Zhao and everyone's second favourite gladiator, Paul Mescal, are back with their new film, Hamnet. The film adapts a fictional recount of Shakespeare's life around the time of his son's birth and subsequent death, which spawned the tragedy of Hamlet. Today I'm going to be deep diving the trailer to see what lies beneath the surface in its visual language and whether this new film will be more, how can I put this, more like Nomadland or more like The Eternals. So, I'm just going to start by looking at some of the shots from the teaser trailer and breaking down the messages embedded in them, like this one. This is the first shot we see in the trailer. It's a high-angle long shot of Anne Hathaway. Hathaway was William Shakespeare's first and only wife. They got married in 1582, roughly 10 years before Shakespeare wrote his first play, The Taming of the Shrew, so it's likely that she influenced the characters in many of his plays. But back to the shot. Here we see her in a fetal position, curled up in the forest. Immediately, the first impression of the film is that it plays with the idea of reality and fiction. These might not be the actual things that Anne Hathaway went through, but it still looks and feels real enough to be enjoyable. We have questions posed to us about the image that makes us question how believable this is in the context of Shakespeare's life. Why would Anne Hathaway be curled up on the forest floor? Why is she next to a deep dark cave? To me, I see this as an exploration of the surreal. The signs and symbols are already there. They show that we're going to peer into the surreal nature of emotions. As a film fan, I'd look at the cave and think, yeah, it's a cave, but what could it represent? Caves are traditionally dark, deep, and scary, and are associated with the scary, darker parts of this world, and perhaps even our psyches. Let's move on to the next shot, which is a reverse looking at her perspective. A low angle of the forest with the sun hidden by the overarching trees. This perspective change in the trailer is then confirmed by a medium close-up of Hathaway on the ground looking up. So why is this important? What I like to think for shots like this is, why are we being shown this specifically? What are we supposed to think about what's happening or the implications of the shots? In this case, with these three shots, I feel like the director is showing us the power of nature. Anne Hathaway is just one little person, and whether or not you're married to Shakespeare or not, there's nothing you can do to overcome the unstoppable passage of time. In the context of their lives, I feel like Jessie Buckley is trying to show us just how small and insignificant Anne Hathaway must have felt in her situation. Specifically, the situation of losing her son at the tragic age of 11. Chloe Zhao could have shown us her crying over her son's dead body for the first shot, but we have to remember this is a double Oscar-winning director, regardless of other pitfalls. She knows how to command a camera. Now, I know what you're saying. How do we know this from one shot? Nothing's actually happened yet. And I'd say, yes, nothing's happened, but even if we don't know that her son has died or the troubles that Shakespeare and Hathaway must have gone through in their relationship, I feel like the implication of the pure shots is enough to convey these feelings, context or no context. From my perspective, the rest of the shots in the teaser reinforce this idea of a more cerebral and natural film that supports the indie darling aesthetic I think the director's going for. No huge green screens and no computer-generated rooms. And you can see that in shots like these, where it's clear that real sets have been used to add to the world building of the film. I mean, we see the forest, their house, and perhaps the best location, the Globe Theatre. In fact, we even get quite a few elemental shots. Earth, fire, water, and air. The effect of this on the human brain is unspeakably great. To have a real tangible location shown in a relatively big Hollywood film gives some substance to this story. What was Shakespeare's life like? What effect did he have on those around him? These are but some of the questions that amass from watching the trailer and breed more and more questions. It's effective for a reason and makes Hamnet a beautiful teaser to watch and ponder. Fingers crossed I get to enjoy it when it comes out in my local cinema, and who knows, it might even get a nod at the Oscars. After all, Zhao's Nomadland was another great Oscar-baity film for the Academy to eat up.
Very nice. Thank you for the sacrifice. Please have another sacrifice. No, I've had enough for today.
So, I think that Zhao's latest feature is going to be another cracker. Fingers crossed. Thanks for watching. I've been Never Hold Back. If you like this, go ahead and send it to that one person you always watch the Oscars with. Cheers. Bye.